Welcome to video 17. Next step in the process is to create the products detail view. You'll note that all products and individual categories are working, but I want to have the user be able to click on a product image and for it to display a full page that talks about that product, perhaps shows us some additional information like the product description. So with that in mind, I'm going to go back to Espresso. We're going to be starting to work with product.php. That's the product detail controller. And the first step in this process is to include our init file. So app init.php. And the second thing that I want to do, which I don't believe I've talked about yet, is I want to add a class on the body tag of each of our individual pages. I've just found that this is a good way for me to differentiate between pages using CSS. I don't think it's something we've talked about yet. So I'm going to open up a public header, and right here within the body class I want to be able to define what the body class is. So I'm going to set this up sort of like I did with the page title. We're going to use this getData, but rather than page title I'm going to put in page class. Like so. And as you should be aware, if the page class variable isn't set, it's going to display a blank string. So at the moment, if I refresh the page, if I looked at this project and refreshed the page, we'd get body class equals blank. But we actually want to set this data. So to do that, I'm going to do it in two places. First of all, I'm going to go to my index.php. And up here at the top, after I do the include, let me get that set up right away. So I'm going to do template set data, and I've set that as page class. And I'm going to set the page class on the index to home. So let's go over to Chrome, make sure this is working properly. So if I view the page source, let's take a look. You'll notice we have a body class of home now. So I'm going to do the exact same thing but with our products page. So if I go back to product.php, actually I'll just copy and paste. It'll be a little bit easier. So copy this, paste in, and it's going to be page class. In this case it's going to be product. And this will allow us to style individual pages a little bit easier. After this, the user should only be able to see this page if they want to view a specific product. So in that case, we want to make sure that the ID variable in the URL is set. So we're going to do an if is set, and we're going to check the URL and check for get ID. So first of all, we're going to check if it's set, and if so, we also want to check is it numeric. And if it is, assuming it's both set and it's numeric, we can hopefully assume that this is going to be a valid product. So in that case, we'll show the product. Otherwise, else, there's going to be some sort of error because obviously the user is trying to access a page that shouldn't display to them. And there are a couple ways you can handle these error messages. Just for the sake of simplicity and speed in this tutorial, I'm simply going to redirect them back to the home page. So using our template redirect, I'm going to redirect them back to site path. You could also potentially set an error message here using the templates functionality. So you could set an alert and alert the user that they've tried to access a page that doesn't exist. But like I said, just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to do a simple redirect. So the next step is to make sure that this product is valid. So I'm going to use product equals products get, And we're specifically going to try to check for get ID. And just as a quick reminder, products refers to our products object, and we're getting a specific product. Here we go, get, and it's checking for a specific product. And then we're going to check if the resulting value is empty. If it's not empty, we want to actually show this product to the user. If it is empty, we know we've run into an error. So if empty product, else, we can do the same thing. We know it's an error, so we can redirect. However, if it's not an error, we need to take that data that's been retrieved from the model using this line, and we need to store it in variables, pass that off to the view, and then display the view that we want to show the user. Actually, I'll wait on that portion. We will want to create the category nav, and by that I'm talking about this top category navigation here. I'll wait on that for a second. Let's do the next step, which is going to be to pass the data to the view. And in this case, we're going to do template set data. We're going to set prod ID, and that's going to be the variable from the URL get ID. And I'm going to copy this line and paste it a couple times because we're going to be using set data several times. So we want one for the idea, we want one for the name, one for description, price, and image. So name, description, price, and image. And in this case, it's going to be product name. This one's going to be product description. Product price. And product image. And just to make sure that the path is correct, we're going to use our image path, like so. So we passed all this data to the view. We're going to create our category navigation, which we've done before in the past, like this. So I'm just going to copy that, paste it in place. And rather than, let's see, rather than the category name here, we want to use product category name, like so. That should create our category navigation, and then we want to display the view. So template, load. We're going to be loading app views store product.php, and we want to pass in the title, and we're going to pass in the product title, in this case product name. There we go. So I know we haven't set up our view yet. We haven't set up the actual HTML which is going to display this. But let me go ahead and make sure that this is working. So it looks like we have an undefined index, line 6. So just to catch any bugs. Doesn't help. That needs to be an ID. Can't include. app views. Oh, sorry. That should be app views v public product. There we go. So no more errors. We know that's loading successfully. And the last thing we have to do is set up the HTML and CSS.